Welcome to this episode of the Homestead Journey Podcast 5-Minute Fridays, your weekly dose of information, inspiration, and motivation. Now, here's your host, Brian Wells.
Thank you, Bonnie, and welcome everyone to another episode of 5-Minute Fridays. This week on the Homestead Journey Podcast, episode number 92, I shared with you that I am finally having success growing zucchini after 4 or 5 years of really struggling to do so. But with great power comes great responsibility, as they say. And so today, I'm going to talk to you about all of the different ways that we use the abundance of zucchini that we are experiencing here on our homestead. We're going to talk about some of the ways that we utilize the smaller zucchini when it's kind of young and tender. We're going to talk about what we do with some of the bigger ones when they kind of get away from us. And then we're going to talk about some recipes that we haven't tried yet, but we've heard really great things about. And so I want to share those with you. So let's get right to it. When the zucchini is smaller and kind of tender, these are some of the ways that we utilize it. First of all, this is my favorite way. We cut it and the summer squash into spears. I'll drizzle it with some olive oil, put a little salt and pepper on it, and toss it on the hot grill for a little bit till you get a little nice char on it. Leave it a little on the crispy side, and boy, is it good eating. Now, my second favorite way to eat zucchini is how we had it tonight. We'll slice it up rather thin, mix it with summer squash again, and my wife will fry it up in butter, salt, and pepper in the cast iron skillet. It is delicious. Another way that we like to do it is to slice it up, again, mixed with summer squash, and we will steam it and then put a little butter, salt, and pepper on it. It's a little bit of a different texture than when it's fried, but still very, very good. We also will sometimes slice it or chunk it up, put it in a foil pack, some butter, salt, and pepper, throw that foil pack on the hot coals in a campfire or on top of the grill. And again, very, very delicious. And then sometimes what we'll do with it is just chunk it up and we will roast it in the oven, drizzle it with some olive oil, a little salt and pepper, maybe mix it with some other vegetables, and very, very good. Now, when the zucchini, sometimes, you get those ones that kind of hide a little bit and they start to get a little bit bigger than what you would like. Don't fret. There's still ways that you can use them besides turning them into eggs by tossing them to your chickens. A lot of it revolves around just shredding it up. By shredding that zucchini, one of the things that we like to do here is to press the excess water out of it, mix it with some eggs, some panko, a little bit of seasoning, maybe some Italian seasoning, and then fry those kind of like latkes in a cast iron skillet. So it's kind of like the shredded zucchini cake. Put a little bit of like blue cheese or ranch dressing on it, and that's some good eating. You can also take it and shred it and make it into zucchini bread. And the wonderful thing about this is you can bake the zucchini bread and eat it fresh out of the oven with some butter, and is that good? Or you can take that zucchini bread and you can make a bunch of different loaves, let them cool, wrap them up, throw them in the freezer, and they keep great in the freezer because of the moisture content in that zucchini bread. And if you're not up to baking zucchini bread right now, go ahead and shred that zucchini up, package the zucchini in the portions needed to make a batch of zucchini bread. And then when you're ready to do it, you've got it pre-measured, ready to rock and roll, and you can make some awesome zucchini bread. Tonight, I was at a meeting at church and someone brought something that I had never had before, but I had to get it into this episode. And that is that she made a lemon zucchini cake. And boy, was it delicious, drizzled with a bit of a glaze, and it was absolutely amazing. And finally, one of the other things that we have done here, and we do it very, very often, and that is to make zucchini relish. In the Ball Blue Book of Canning, there's an excellent recipe for zucchini relish that I absolutely love. Now, here's some of the recipes that we haven't tried yet, but I've heard great things about. Some people will take zucchini and turn it into what they call zoodles, and they'll use it instead of spaghetti noodles and put sauce over top of it. Some people will take them and slice it kind of thin and use it in place of lasagna noodles and kind of make a vegetable lasagna using zucchini. Another friend of mine likes to take them and cut them into slices, put a little pizza sauce on them with a little bit of mozzarella, and now you have these individual pizza bites. And finally, another great way that people say to use those mid-size, not really the huge ones, but those mid-size zucchinis is to cut them in half and then kind of dig out the seeds and turn them into a zucchini boat. So put in some tomato sauce with some sausage and cover it with mozzarella and bake it in the oven. Another friend of mine says that his wife will take out the seeds, put mushrooms and onions, and I think a little bit of butter, top it with cheese and bake it in the oven. So lots of great ways that you can use zucchini on your homestead. I'm sure I just barely scratched the surface. If you've got some great recipes, I'd love to hear them. Send them to me at brian@thehomesteadjourney.net, and I'll be glad to do a follow-up episode on zucchini recipes to help you maximize this wonderful product from your garden. All right, folks, this week's Journey Quote of the Week is this: life is short, and we have never too much time for gladdening the hearts of those who are traveling the dark journey with us. Oh, be swift to love, make haste to be kind. And that comes from Henry Frederick Amiel. Have a great weekend, everybody, and I'll catch you right here on next week's 5 Minute Friday.
Brian can be reached by emailing him at brian@thehomesteadjourney.net or by contacting him via our social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. If you've enjoyed this episode and you'd like to support this podcast, we invite you to become a member of the Supporting Listeners Program. For $10 a month or $100 per year, you will receive access to a community of like-minded individuals via a private Facebook group, at least one monthly live Q&A with Brian, the opportunity to participate in live recordings of the podcast, access to an ever-expanding library of helpful homesteading content, and so much more. Head on over to support.thehomesteadjourney.net for more information and to sign up today. As always, the music on this episode was provided by audionautics.com, so a big shout out to them.
And until next time, everybody, keep up the good work.